Hey my sweet crafty friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new and you're stopping by for the very first time, welcome. I am so glad you are here. I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button below and become a part of my little DIY family. So before we get started with today's DIY, I wanted to let you guys know that today is Wreath Wednesday with my sweet friend Nadia over at DIY with Nadia. I will leave her channel link in the description box below, as well as the link for today's wreath video. Head on over to her channel when you're finished watching this video and let her know that I sent you. For today's wreath, I am going to be using this gold wire wreath form that I picked up at Dollar Tree, as well as this buffalo check ribbon and this Merry Christmas ribbon that I picked up from Sam's Club. So first thing I did was just cut off about a few feet of this ribbon, each one of them, and I just placed one on top of the other because we're going to double them up, and I just rolled them up in a little ball just to make it easier to work with. So here I'm showing you where we're going to place each of our chenille stems. We're going to place about 10 of them in each little section. So I was actually going to use some zip ties to attach my ribbon to my wreath form, but I could not find those things anywhere. I searched high and low, and those things just up and disappeared. In reality, they would have worked so much better than these chenille stems. Honestly, I would not have had to sit here and twist and twist. I could have just whoop whoop and zipped them things on. So here I just took my chenille stems and I cut them all in half, and then I started wrapping 10 of them in each little section. Now if you can see here, I am only using the 2 inner rings to attach my ribbon to. Once I got about 3 sections of my ring wrapped with the chenille stems, I then took my ribbon and I just kind of pinched the end together, and then I twisted my chenille stem around it and then kind of just like tuck that in on the bottom. Once I got my little end attached, I am then going to use like my hand to measure out how big I want my loops to be. And once I get that measured, I am just going to twist or like pinch in that spot, and then I'm going to twist my stems around just like I did on the first end. And I'm just going to keep repeating the same process until I get that section filled up. And it's funny because you can see here my paper keeps moving. I didn't even have it taped like to the table, and it just kept moving. So eventually I went and got some tape and taped it. And don't worry about what your loops look like right now. You just basically want to make sure that they're even. We're going to go back after we get it filled up and fluff those out. And when you get to the next section, you're just going to keep doing the same thing that you're doing here. And then when you get to the end of your ribbon, you know, just go ahead and tie it off like we did our starting point, and then just tuck that end under. So now that we have both of our inner rings attached with our ribbon, we can just go back in now and fluff it out. So I may have actually overdid it on the ribbon. I wanted a fuller look and it looks full. I'm not sure, but I mean, I like the way it looks at the end, but maybe I shouldn't have used so much ribbon. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did I use too much ribbon, or is it just perfect? You can definitely see it taking some shape here now, and you know, I know you can see like the ring on the inside right there, but once you get all your loops fluffed out and everything, you're not even going to be able to see that at all, so don't even worry about that. So I may have left a little too much of the fluffing of the loops in the video, but as I'm sitting here doing this voiceover and the music is playing in the background, I'm like, this is really therapeutic and so relaxing. You can see here as I'm fluffing that inner ring just kind of disappears. Like I said, you won't even be able to see either one of them, the one on the inside there or the one on the outside, once your wreath is all fluffed up. So now that our wreath is all fluffed out and looking full and beautiful, I am just going to take this deer head that I got at Walmart in the Christmas section, and it was only like $4.98, and I am just going to pull off this greenery because I'm going to give this one coat of my ink chalk paint. So this greenery was just basically stapled onto the front of this deer, and I just kind of wrapped it up in my hand and gave it a good tug, and it just come right on out. Of course, it did leave a little bit of, you know, little holes there, and I went in with my sanding sponge and kind of smoothed that out. And now I'm going to give this one coat of my ink chalk paint by Waverly. Now this bottle was just about empty, so you're going to see me in a minute, you know, trying to get every little last drop out of it that I could. And I almost had enough for it, but when it come down to it, I didn't have enough for my edges, so I had to go back in and use some of the chalkboard paint that I had picked up from Dollar Tree. So once I got it all painted up and it dried, I went over all the edges with my sanding sponge just to bring out some of that natural wood. So here you can see just how gorgeous this looks with those edges distressed and just the dimension that it gives it. I also went ahead and gave the back of him a good coat of the chalkboard paint, and you know, because I'm just like that and I like things to look, you know, more finished. So now I'm just going to take some jute string, and I am going to place these on the back of my deer head with my staple gun. And the reason why I did this is because I did not want to glue my deer head to my ribbon, because, you know, maybe one day I decide I want to reuse that ribbon for a different DIY or something. So I just decided to go ahead and do this, and I'm just gonna, you know, reinforce it with some staples, and then I'm gonna just tie it onto my wreath form. And as I staple each one on there, I'm just giving it a good tug just to make sure that it's all good and secure. So now I'm just going to place it on top of my wreath, and I am just going to weave that jute string through and just tie it around one of the little rings. It definitely is a little bit of a struggle here doing this, but on this last one I do kind of flip it over just so I can see what I'm doing. And y'all, I know my back looks a hot mess right now, but I am going to go back and clean all that up. I figured that's something that y'all really didn't need to see. You know, that's pretty self-explanatory. But you can see here where I just wrap that around one of those little rings, and I'm just double knotting it. And then I'll just go back and cut the strings off, you know, when I clean up the back of it. So now my little deer's on there, and I'm just gonna flip it over and just, you know, adjust my loop some more and get it to where I like it. And here she is, guys. Ain't she a beauty? She's a little on the massive side. She's all full and fluffy. But y'all, I love the way it turned out. It's like so farmhouse, so rustic, so woodland Christmas. Oh my gosh, y'all. I am just so happy about how this turned out. And my daughter's like, when I sent her the picture, she's like, oh my gosh, Mom, that is so pretty. I love it. And I was like, yeah, I know. You're going to steal it from me. So I want to thank my sweet friend Nadia for asking me to collaborate on her Wreath Wednesday. It truly has been a pleasure, and I absolutely cannot wait to see what she's made for her wreath. Y'all make sure that you go over and check out Nadia's video as well, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye now.